Hey everybody, and welcome back to the wood shop. If you've watched many of our YouTube videos, you've seen us use this Kobalt dual bevel sliding compound miter saw. Now we had a viewer named Tom T who asked how adjustable this saw is for accuracy, so I thought why not make a video out of it. So I'm going to show you how to adjust this saw for accuracy on the miter and the bevel. Now first of all, this saw does have positive stop points on common angles, and the way you get that to move is by pulling this handle up. It don't stay there. You have to hold it up and then move it past the positive stop. And once you get to the next common angle with the positive stop, it locks in place. Then you have to lift it up again to move it off of that and onto the next one or back to the one you were on before. Now if you want to lock the saw down on an uncommon angle, say I need a 10-degree angle, you just push this down and that locks it down. Now one of the questions that Tom had was whether or not the positive stop points were adjustable for accuracy. Simple answer is no. The only way to adjust the miter for accuracy is by adjusting the fence. We'll go ahead and check this saw now for accuracy and show you how to adjust it. Alright, the first thing you need to do, push your saw all the way down and then use the little locking pin back here to lock it in place. Now to check whether or not your blade is at 90 degrees to your fence, you're going to need a square. I usually use a little speed square like this. You'll put the heel of the square up against the fence and then check against the blade with the other side of the square. Now you have to make sure that none of the teeth are touching the square, because if a tooth is touching here and it's not touching over here, that's going to give you a misreading. Well, it looks like we're all good and square here, but if the fence would have needed an adjustment, I'll go ahead and show you how to do it. Now the first thing you have to do before you can adjust the fence is to remove these adjustable side wings, and now how you do that is you loosen up this lock screw and then just slide the side wing back and it'll come right off. Now you can see the adjustment screws are right under here. There are two on each side. This is a one-piece fence. It's all connected together. Now we'll go ahead and take the other one off. Now since the saw is pretty much at a perfect 90 right now, I'm not going to loosen these up, but you can see there are two 5mm hex screws on each side of the fence. Now if I needed to adjust the fence right now, what I would do, loosen these three screws here, here, and here to where they would move really free. Then I would leave this one just a little bit tight. That way I could use it as a pivot point and move this side back and forth. Then you would lock your blade down like we did earlier, put the heel of your square here, then set it up against the blade and move this back and forth until it's at 90 degrees perfectly with your blade. Then you would want to torque down the screw on the very end, then torque them down all the way across. Then after you have the fence screwed down good and tight again, always check for square one more time before you call the job finished, because you never know, something might have moved while you were torquing the screws back down. Now when you have your blade and your fence at a perfect 90 with each other, you want to make sure that your marker needle is exactly on the zero. Find the positive stop point, let it lock in place, and then you can loosen this up and swing it back and forth till you get it lined up exactly with the zero line. Now that we've gone through the miter adjustments on this saw, which is the angle of the blade relative to the fence, we're going to step on into the bevel adjustments now, which is the angle of the blade up and down relative to the base plate. Now the first thing to know, to unlock the bevel, you just flip this handle up right here and it will swing to the left. Now if you have the dual bevel switch thrown over here toward the right, it will swing either direction. Now the positive stop adjustments are in the back. There's only three going to each side, three on the right, three on the left. Those are at 45 degrees, 48 degrees, and 33.9 degrees. For any other angle, you just set your needle where you want it and lock it down. Now to check and see if your blade is at 90 degrees with the base plate, we'll start with our speed square again. Set the heel against the base plate and pull the blade down. You'll have to hold up this guard with your thumb while you pull it down. And we'll get our square over here against the blade in between the teeth, because you don't want to rest against one of those teeth. That'll throw your accuracy off. And that's what we like to see. Perfect 90. Now we'll go ahead and get into some of the adjustments on the bevel. you'll see here this switch switches between single bevel and dual bevel. Now, all this is a pin with a spring that goes all the way through here, and that actually acts as your positive stop for your 0 degree bevel. When it's flipped over here to dual bevel, it's pulled out, and that lets the saw pass up 0 degrees and go toward the right. Now, in order to adjust your 0 degree positive stop, you have to have it set for dual bevel and push your saw over to the right. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a hole right there. There's a screw right there that actually hits against that pin that I was talking about earlier, this pin here. And you can adjust that back and forth to set your 0 degree. So wherever that screw strikes that pin, that's where 0 degrees is. Now, as far as adjusting the positive stops for the angle adjustments, you have these screws right here. They have a jam nut behind them. You can screw these in or out to adjust exactly what angle you've got when you strike on these 3 levels on this angle adjustment. Right here is 48 degrees on this level. If you turn it this way, you've got 45 degrees, and all the way over here you're at 33.9 degrees. And you can see how this works. This set screw will come over and hit that positive stop, and that should be 33.9 degrees if you have your adjustment set right. Now, it would make sense that if you have this set screw set in a position where it's striking one of them at the right angle, you would think that all of them would hit at the right angle they're supposed to, but you would want to check and make sure. You can set it at your 45 with your square. That's pretty easy, but you know, getting something to check it at a 33.9 degree angle, you know, that's going to be pretty hard. But odds are 45 degrees is going to be your most common cut anyway. Now, if I needed to adjust the bevel on this saw, I would start with the 0 degree adjustment, and that's done with the set screw that's up inside the little hole in the back. Just keep checking against the base plate and the blade until you get 90 degrees. Then once you're all set at 90 degrees, you can see these needles also have adjustments on them. They move back and forth, so you can loosen this up and set your needle right at 0 and tighten it back down, and do the same thing with this needle over here too. Then once you have your 0 degree set, the next thing I would do is set the 45. Now, in order to tilt this saw to 45 degrees, this adjustable side wing on the fence has to be moved about halfway out, or the saw will hit it. Now, you'll tilt your saw all the way to the left until it hits that positive stop. Now we'll use the speed square again, but instead of using the 90 degree side, we'll use the 45 degree side. We will get it up under here and check to see if our blade is at a 45 degree angle from the base plate. If it's all good over here, do the same thing over there. Now, if you find you don't have the right angle on one side or the other, or both, just adjust your little screw there with the jam nut. Keep checking with your square at 45 degrees till you get it just right. Thanks for joining me in the shop today for this woodshop tip on the Kobalt dual bevel sliding miter saw. I hope somebody out there found this helpful. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of our videos. You can also join us on Facebook at Wood Songs by Russell and at woodsongsbyrussell.com. Thanks again for watching, and happy woodworking.